let's start with the introductions. So very first, I would request Reataj from Ampverse to join us for the panel. So give it a big rounds for Reataj, everyone. Fabulous. Next we have Vikrant. So Vikrant is representing Orangutan. So Jay was there in the last session, so probably we will get more insights about esports happening on the grassroots level. And next we have Akash from A Gaming. Fabulous, Akash, please have a seat. So I think more of the members would be also joining in shortly and we would connect with you. So let's start the journey from the very beginning itself. So thank you so much, Vikrant. Thank you, Akash. So yes, a fabulous day to have a esports session, and the previous one was very exciting. So let's start the journey itself from the very beginning. So guys, where do you see the grassroots esports going? Because I believe a lot of you people are working at the grassroots level with your own IPs. So I'm sure the audience would love to know regarding college rivals. So I would love to know, like where you guys are operating, how you're doing it, where you're doing it, who is your target audience, who is your target market, how you are generating the revenue, everything all in all. So I'd love to start with Vikrant.
Yeah.
Absolutely, all of
So guys, it's a great opportunity to be here and speak about how we are building the grassroots. Now all three of us, it's a lucky panel actually, all of us have completed that ecosystem. So he over here has been finding the right talent. We as Ampverse are taking a gaming truck to various different golden quadrilateral cities. We've already completed around 23 different cities where it's strange, people coming from Patna, Bhopal, Ahmedabad, all of them are so excited about it. And in season one, we actually got the best talent out of this whole raw talent, and he's playing in Orangutan Rivals Apex. Just to give you a brief, this is how the whole situation is going. Season 2 has been great. Just in terms of numbers, we've already done around 2 lakh solo registrations on
over 2 lakhs
on 3 different games.
Yeah.
So it's going very well. And at the end of it, we always have a culmination event which happens in February, where we create a fusion event with artists and also gamers. So yeah, that's the brief.
Superb. So I would love to know, I would ask Vikrant, Vikrant, how are you shortlisting these talented young people based on, what criteria, what shortlisting skills and abilities? Because I believe not only technical skills, you also look forward to people who have great personalities, who can represent your community and talk with other people, right? And also engage with them at a very deeper level, because that is very essential when you're doing events at tier 1, tier 2 cities also. You mentioned a couple of city names, and those were just amazing, because a lot of cities are deprived from those kind of activities, and people look forward to getting such platform. And if that is happening at their own college, what better than that? So yes, Vikrant.
So usually what I have been doing in the past couple of years is I was working with ROG, ASUS ROG in 2022. So we created an academy project for Valorant where players from across the country can just go ahead, apply for it, and then go through a rigorous training process, and then they get selected into an academy program where they get to learn about Valorant and understand the fundamentals and everything, and they get to learn about the game and everything. So this process was the first thing that I felt was like something that you are working on a grassroots level, and then came like college rivals, and they started running this project, and then we had been doing this for over a couple of years now. Then I moved on from ROG Academy. Then I brought the same project in Orangutan as well. So last season when we were competing in BCL, I picked up all the fresh talent, and we ended up becoming top 4 in our region. Unfortunately, we couldn't win, but so what I felt with all of this is that, if we try to take in young talent who have the ability and the potential to reach the maximum, but if they are given a right mentorship, they can grow and take this esports career forward. So I feel that college rivals, and that is why I partnered up with 2 organizations. called Esports and VR1 Academy, so that I can do that work, keep on finding the new young talent, and try to teach them the values that are required towards esports, because I feel that the values are usually not inculcated into the students who are learning about the game on their own. So like the values, like what is the importance of discipline, how important it is, and what are the different virtues that you need to understand, how you can improve or work upon your hand-eye coordination, and all that things. So I feel that these things are something that can be taught only by a mentorship program and not something that they can learn on their own. So that is what we have been doing for the past couple of years.
Superb. That is actually a very crucial point that you have mentioned, like people having the right mentorship, and what better way to, like show them the path that they need to walk on. And we were actually discussing, like before the session happened, how we need to be disciplined and focused to grow. And I think in the previous, like last year's session, we also had a session on Grassroots Esports, where we were talking with Lenovo and other industry partners that one needs to have focus and proper direction and that persistence and push to grow in the industry.
Definitely.
And your program, like speaks volumes for itself. So Akash, good to see you, brother, on this fabulous morning. So we were also having a short discussion before coming here. So I'd love to know, like what is it that you're bringing onto the table for the fabulous community and the ecosystem, especially for the people who are here for our fabulous session,
So basically we are partnered up with these guys, college rivals. We are executing their grassroots level event, which is on-ground activation and all the stuffs. Also, we are partnered up with a couple of brands like Gigabyte, Horus, and EAFC. So last year we have run a completely college level grassroots program for EAFC, going to a lot of different colleges and executing it on ground and activating gamers. So they have launched their game. So it was a mobile based game, and we need to get some few downloads and stuff for them. That was a campaign for EAFC that we did.
Super.
And then again with grassroots, as in like not only colleges, but we have also partnered up with a couple of cafes, and then the cafe culture is also booming in India right now. So there are a lot of cafe that brands are targeting to.
Absolutely. So there is actually one of the industry veterans who's working. So he's actually making a cafe booking system online. So people can actually book and collaborate these cafes without all the hassle. So people are working at the grassroots level and ensuring that things move very seamlessly and smoothly. So one of the big differentiators I believe people would love to know here, that what is the basic difference between gaming and esports, and how does it affect the grassroots levels?
I think before we take that forward, I would like to talk about the challenges
Absolutely.
that we
That would be
face
really great, so that
on
they
a
can
different
also
level.
understand.
Okay.
Yeah, sure.
So esports generally is very new. There were not a lot of good prize pool tournaments coming out earlier, but through some brands and integrations, we are getting that prize pool, which is enabling a student to go to his parents and say, hey, I want to make a career out of this, right? So this is the biggest challenge that a kid faces in today's time, to make a valuable insight. So just for example, we were in IIM Indore the other day, okay? Like we have penetrated that market itself, like where we have gone to tier 1, tier 2 cities along with these colleges, which are flagship colleges. Usually what do you think? Like, IITs are those places where, yeah, these guys are very focused in what they want to do, probably join Cisco, right?
Absolutely.
But this year we have got the best FIFA player out of that.
Really?
Yeah.
That's fabulous.
He scores 24 goals in one match.
Wow.
Hidden talents, right? So, but yeah, being very honest, I don't think he'll pick up that career. But then, yeah, you get to know.
Because,
You get to know, like, these are the
changing.
talents. Definitely. So that's one challenge. The other challenge, as we were having another session before this, brand integrations, right? Yeah, like we all have money to process the whole campaign, but we also need some help. That's where I guess, like, they have been in industry more than me. I come from sports background. It took us 3 years for a brand to understand how much it actually takes to, like, pull in money. Like, we are making them understand what gaming is, and in that process they are also valuing the talent we have. For example, in terms of just going a little digressing from the topic in terms of sports, esports is a niche, but the mainstream sports which has federations has a valuable career path to it. You become a top athlete, probably you're going to go to ONGC and sort of work for them. And post that, you can probably be a coach for a bigger team, right? So yeah, that 1% of that concentration just comes from these brands who help us pump in money, which helps us grow these programs.
Because ultimately for a brand, since I also have worked with Gigabyte and MSI and a couple of other industry partners, because for them it is more on the value side or the ROI that they see. So if I'm investing, let's say if I'm investing a lakh of rupees or let's say 1,000 grams on a certain project, so I would love to see what kind of aspiration I'm building or what kind of short-term sales that we are doing and how we are tapping into that channel or platform. So that is a very good point that you have mentioned, and these colleges and these platforms, they need programs like yours to enable them. So
Vikrant,
absolutely.
Can I take this forward?
Yeah,
just
sure,
one
but
more.
I just wanted to add something to it.
Absolutely.
So the biggest issue that we face today in our market, like whenever we want to do a brand integration or be it like explaining to our parents what education is, like in this particular esports, do we have a future or a career is, because they don't have the knowledge about it. And what we need to tell them or make them understand about this is that the knowledge that we can provide them or teach them about the esports can begin with our programs as well. So the one that we are running right now, where we are going to different colleges, different cities, exploring kids, exploring the talent, and teaching them about esports so that they can go and teach it. So it's what do you call it, like a word of mouth kind of a marketing, but at the same time you're spreading out education as well. Same goes for the brand and same goes for everything. So I feel that in the next coming years, if we work and focus more on educating the people about what the esports ecosystem looks like, what is the revenue sources, how it can be generated and all that, that is when we will start to attract more brands and create a lot of revenue options for organization to run more projects like these.
Definitely.
So it comes to a full circle.
Yeah.
So we just have to educate people so that we can get in more money.
Definitely.
That's as simple as it is.
That's very crucial, So Akash, I would love to ask you one very crucial question. So since you're working at the very grassroots levels, let's say if you're talking to a gamer or a possible budding gamer or let's say a game developer, how do you ensure that their parents are convinced that their children come into this domain? I believe it's a very trick question that I'm asking you.
So
and
it's
that is the general mindset of the people, because people ask you traditional parents, they had the mindset. You get what I'm
So
asking,
it's
right?
still pretty much hard to convince the parents in nowadays also. But
That's the biggest challenge.
yeah, it's the biggest challenge. But then there are a lot of programs that are being conducted right now. So uske वजह से it's very easier to tell them that this can be a good career option for your child to be in. And as well as there are a lot of gamers and even the government of India with AVGC and all, it's supporting gaming.
Absolutely.
So those kind of initiatives are boosting gaming in on the eyes of these parents, so that they can allow their children to pursue something in gaming and esports.
Correct. Because one point I would like to add is there are a lot of colleges who have sponsored their students to showcase their games, and there are little kids.
Yeah.
It's like one-man, two-man teams who are making fabulous games and esports as their career. So
Adding on to it, there is a college called
Artemis.
no, it's in Punjab, LPU.
LPU.
So they have set up their own facility for gamers to have everything over there. So
Zero White is also doing a couple of courses on esports over there.
Yeah.
Along with Norwin. Superb.
Okay. So now coming back to the emotional front.
Exactly. That's a very crucial point.
So see, the thing is that whenever you have this basic kid who is really good at gaming, he needs to showcase it somewhere.
Correct.
That's where these platform tie-ups come in, right? Imagine a kid going to his parents and saying, "Hey, watch me on GeoTV." right? It's a big thing for the household, and that's what gives the confidence. This is how, yesterday's Virat Kohli kind of came up,
Absolutely.
right? They gave that much effort, that much support as a parent to these guys. Also, just carry forwarding what he had said about brands being very much involved. For me personally, I think that's 1% of the of the whole roadmap.
Yeah, there are a lot of ways to generate revenue.
Yeah.
And it's very similar to, like in sports, since you come from a
Actually,
sports background.
actually, like if you look at the other countries which are around us who have a platform and system, they have created these incubation centers inside their colleges, schools, where they have sports psychologists helping a kid understand what it means to be an esports player, because there's so much pressure for them as well, right? It's not going to be easy. It's an athlete at the end of the day. We need to look at a person like that as an athlete rather than, he's an esports player, because that's, for us, that's a niche, but for everyone around us, that's just a general person who's an athlete for the country. Now, College Rivals has a long-term plan. We want to create those athletes who will represent India. So I am from Ampverse, a global entity. One of our teams just won a bronze medal in Asian Games.
Super.
So that is the whole culture we're trying to bring, with obviously the support of him, and over to you.
Like Akash was mentioning, like lot of organizations like AVGC, and there's one more organization called EISL. So they are doing a really great job, like promoting or bringing esports from other countries to here. And a lot of organizations, brands and platforms, they want to start their business, they want to start their gaming vertical, they want to start their esports vertical here in India. And what better platform than IGDC or Indiajoy to promote them.
Definitely.
And DreamHack is happening right next to it, Comic Con is happening. Even sports like chess are coming into gaming events.
I think it's a very
That's a big
Yeah.
game changer.
The chess.com boosted it a lot.
Yeah.
It has made even easier to connect and play it.
A lot of grandmasters here coming into sports and promoting esports alongside with that.
Definitely.
And aspiration is something which is built along it. So I think we are a little short on time. So I would love to, ask the audience if they have any questions for the fabulous panel that is here today. Yes. Can we get him a mic? Yeah. Thank you.
So one of you said that kids need to kind of showcase their talent when it comes to localized recognition. So how can local gaming cafes or lounges help in that promotion, or building this community where people can come and showcase their talent, or talk to people who have talents and learn a little bit from them?
Okay. Thank you so much for that question. Actually, the thing is that in terms of a person, just a person, it can be anything. It can be an incubation center. It can literally be a tournament which is held in a mall. Where I see cafes coming in is the hardware. So a kid in India does not have a 3060 at their house, right? Being damn honest about it. He needs that hardware, just as an example. So I
That's
think
the main reason why cloud gaming is actually moving along with the cafe culture.
so. Just to continue forward, in terms of cafes can only connect via that as a platform rather than anything. So we have a gaming truck which goes all over India. It has PCs inside of it, PlayStation, mobile, you name it. It's
I've
inside that.
seen that.
Yeah.
I was at Parul University a couple of months ago, I think.
Superb. Actually, I don't even remember. It's like our 58th college here in Hyderabad that we're trying to do. And so I hope I could answer your question. For me, it's just the hardware that they can bring in. And obviously, DAO is there. But for a person who has say 10 computer setup, how much DAO are you going to get from him? Not much, right? So that's where I think they connect, not more than that.
Super. So I see a lot of industry people are also here, like the way we were talking yesterday from Sky Sports. Yeah.
Just to add on to it, yes, it's not only about DAO, but yes, cafes are actually allowing people to play. So there are very few people who has a good gaming setup. The cafes are allowing them to play, and It's not
One
about.
point I would also like to add, in gaming cafes, a lot of brands like they also come up with cafe programs where they can get certifications, their graphics card of their whole system, it can get upgraded to a different tier. So they can leverage that hardware advantage and play AAA titles, or let's say an esports game at the highest FPS, at the best frequency rates of monitors, with the best possible gears, because ultimately it's a sports game. And if you do not have the possible gears, or let's say a seamless internet connection, because let's say if I'm playing from my home and suddenly there's a power cut, or my mom comes and tells me, hey, what are you doing? You're not studying. And I'm in between of, let's say, a national or an international tournament. That would be a biggest fiasco.
Yeah.
And cafe actually enables that. Yes, you have
Okay,
something.
one more thing
Sure.
to just add. A cafe also provides you a standardized hardware. So in an international competition where esports athletes are actually performing, you actually require that monitor. You cannot give them a 240 hertz. You have to give them a particular set of monitor, a particular hardware, so that it's a all-round competition, right? So I think cafes can help there as well.
So I would just like to, can you explain what DAO is for people who might not know?
Sure,
what
sure.
DAO is?
That's like the daily active users for that cafe. It might be running for 6 hours. For that 6 hours, that particular computer set is being operated by this one singular person, and that's what for them DAO is.
Perfect.
Yeah.
And what Aviroop said, you said that with these high-end PCs and everything, people can play AAA titles. So there are many AAA titles, and only a few of them are very famous among players. So I mean, of course, people know about those games, but they don't play those games on a usual basis because they might cost a little bit more than their budget. So how can we promote these games? Let's say a cafe has Cyberpunk 2077 on their PC and PS, but any gamer who comes in with their group, they want to play EFC or Valorant or CS. Right. How can we promote those games for them to know and play?
That's a fabulous question. So coming from a cafe culture, so I've started playing in gaming cafes since 2003. So that's like more than 20 years playing in a gaming cafe. So back then we used to play Counter-Strike 1.6, Dota was there, NFS was there, FIFA was there. If you guys notice, I'm wearing a t-shirt. So yeah, those kind of games were very popular, and AAA titles, it's picking up very huge. So people are not only, they want to play the best games, because that is, let's say if a AAA title, if it costs like 3,000 or 4,000 bucks, they need to buy that, they need to have a system which provides a good experience. So people tag along with their friends, they go to cafes and enjoy the gaming at the best possible configurations. And having or spending a time in a cafe is way different than playing it alone at your own pace. I wouldn't use the alone, I would use the word solitary. But then again, it's more about the experience. So let's say even if a game developer, he or she develops a game for the industry, people want to experience it at the best level. Let's say an indie game, for an example. It needs to have a really nice storyline, might not be the best graphics, but that experience, that feel of, comfort. Let's say there was a popular gaming platform or an organization called Mala Games. So they developed a very simple indie game, and it has gone to a massive scale where it is being promoted on different platforms. So gaming cafes, similarly, AAA titles, those are being promoted at different cafes where they can try that out. And even coming to the hardware brands, they are also promoting their hardware products as a bundle where they can play those games.
I would like to give you
Absolutely.
a very easy answer for this. So usually what happens in the cafe is, like, for example, you said that Cyberpunk 2077 is available. If they have bought that particular game, so the cafe owner would say that, this is the particular PS on which I have Cyberpunk, you can just get an access to it. So the people who have that curious mind, or the people who want to, this is for the titles that are not into an esports competitive sphere. So for them, if they just want to explore the world of gaming, play a couple of AAA titles, it becomes easier for them to just go and access to that particular game, either through their PCs or through their console, whatever it is. But when it comes to esports title, the promotion becomes a lot different.
Yeah.
So you have to provide them with a certain hardware that would give them the best experience of the game, so that they can compete at the highest level. And that is what currently the cafe culture has become all about. and I think he would like to add on to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm a
Guys,
chatty
we are
person.
really
I'm
sorry.
sorry. The thing is, it needs to be multiplayer, man. Esports works on multiplayer games. There might be really beautiful games out there, but then, like, it needs to be multiplayer in nature. So yeah, over to you.
Absolutely. So guys, any more questions? We have room for 2 more questions. Yes, please.
Hi, this is Saurabh from VR1 Academy. I have a question which is why we always talk about revenue, monetization, earn money, why we don't talk about the actual passion of esports players? Because the most of the top esports players, they are thinking about money after when they become at a certain level.
Definitely.
So I would love to answer that question,
Can I take this one?
absolutely, since you are
Because
sure.
see, I will tell you one thing. The passion is something. I absolutely hate the word passion. First of all, let me tell you all why. Because passion is not going to take you anywhere. It's similar to what motivation is. Some days you would have a high passion, some day you would be on low on passion. So don't try to hunt for either being passionate about something. Get better at anything that you want to do, and you will excel in it. But generating about revenue is why revenue has become such an important factor, is because today whatever you do has to come out to be an output.
Yeah.
Simple. The amount of input that you are putting has to be as an output. For example, I am an esports athlete. My input is my energy, my time, and everything that I am doing inside the game. My output would be like either representing India on a national level or an international level.
Definitely.
And then from there on we can build. So if I want to grow esports on a grassroots level, I have to put some input, like in terms of revenue, in terms of money and everything. And then the output should be that what is the revenue that is being generated, or what is the amount of people that are getting educated. And that is how we will determine whether it was a success or a failure. Though I don't believe in that concept, but that is what the normal people go by.
Super. That's a fabulous response.
Just to add on to it,
Let's be quick on it.
just to add on to it, even though we run a grassroots level programs and all, but then it needs an ROI.
Absolutely.
We cannot just put money saying that it's a passion and all.
College rivals does put money on passion. So just to say, it's all about having that inclusivity for everyone else. And if you guys have any other questions, we would like to take it offline. Thank you so much.
Absolutely, guys. Thank you so much for the wonderful session, and we have such fabulous time. So guys, give it up for the fabulous panel here. So yeah, thank you so much. So all in all, the conclusion is we need to work really hard together as a whole, as an ecosystem, with everybody working together under the same roof, along with side all the industry veteran partners and everybody who is sitting here. So yeah, that's pretty much about it.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you.